Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Slice the Coasters podcast with your host, Brad the Water Parker, and as well, joined once again by Ethan, my very good friend Ethan. Say hello.
Hello, guys. I'm glad to be back today.
Yeah, so we are back here. We're ready to go. We're ready to go and check everything out. Ethan, today we're going to be talking about top 5 things that we would like to change at Kings Island per region, and today we're talking about Oktoberfest. Now, Ethan, as you know, Oktoberfest is one of those areas of the park that has really been let down. It's the odd child. It's just, it's the one step child of the area of the park to where there's not a lot of investment. We've seen some upgrades here and there, but we haven't really seen much. So today we're going to be talking about 5 things, and I think, Ethan, you want to start off with Hank's Burrito Shack, right?
Absolutely. Those of you who have been to Kings Island, you may or may not know about this legendary shack known as Hank's Burrito Shack. This place is known for being one of the only places in the park where you're able to get any Mexican cuisine. The style of it is
Hank's
mostly
Mexican
going to
Grill, I'm
be
sorry.
a Mexican grill, yes.
Yeah.
So, the main way that this works, it's kind of like your typical like Chipotle or Qdoba style restaurant where you go in and you build a bowl or a burrito, and that's how it is. From my experiences going there, though, it hasn't really gone as smoothly executed as I think they would want it to. They tend to go very, very slow. A lot of employees don't really know what they're doing. The food isn't really on par to any of those high chain brands that you see around the country. And I just think that it was just kind of an option to try and get some Mexican food going on, which I think that it was a nice attempt to try and put it there, but I think that it wasn't executed as properly. And my idea for the new Oktoberfest we are planning out is to go ahead and transform the grill of Hank's into what was once during the hunt season a mac and cheese bar. So these have been kind of popping up around other Cedar Fair parks as well. I believe that King's Dominion brought it at one point for this season. I think Cedar Point
Mm-hmm.
has as well, and they are very popular among guests. Especially, you can kind of customize your mac and cheese bowl how you want. There's a lot of toppings you can, and it has gotten rave reviews from what I've heard. And when it was at Kings Island during Halloween Haunt, fans loved it and have been asking ever since for it to come back. So I believe that the first start to this Oktoberfest transformation is to get the food on par, and that is why I am saying the mac and cheese bar is the way to go.
So, I don't mean to burst your bubble here, Ethan, but we do get the macaroni and cheese bar every Winterfest too.
Absolutely, yes. And
Yeah. I'm kind of surprised. You know, it was funny. We were talking about this before, and he's talking to me like, yeah, we need this mac and cheese bar. We need it. Like he was all gung ho. I
mm-hmm.
personally have to disagree, and we're gonna disagree actually a few times on this list because I personally would like to see a beer hall added in with a beer garden. You know, something that's a staple of the Oktoberfest in Munich are the beer halls, and I think that if Kings Island were to build something that's similar, that kind of overlooks the water, I think that would be really beautiful. It gets you out of the heat. You know, maybe have some brats, maybe have some German food there. Have some really nice craft beers from around the United States, maybe some international beer from Germany. Um, you know, something that is different, something that kind of puts the area apart. Of course, you know, everyone associates that little stretch from I Street down to Oktoberfest and Coney Mall as I Street now with Hank's Mexican Grill. And I think they should change it. You know, I think they should go on ahead, annex it for Oktoberfest, and maybe that can lead into something else we'll talk about later, Ethan. But
Mm-hmm.
I think most definitely, if they're to have a beer hall or beer garden, that would make the area much more German, in my opinion. And speaking of making it German, another thing that we were talking about is giving the Fest House an overhaul. Give it an upgrade. Here's what we mean. We got an amazing outside overview where they actually repainted the exterior. They actually redid the Glockenspiel clock so that it actually makes noise and actually does music. We want to totally renovate the interior of Fest House. What do we mean by that? Take out the roses. Take out the Pan Express. I know there are
Oh
people out there right now who are
no.
probably spamming in the comments. Brad, you are a sick and crazy man for saying this. I know I am. What I'd like to do is put on the left side where La Rose's once was a more authentic German area, a German themed restaurant where you can pick up things like Rubens, pick up things like Bratz, Metz, Sauerbraten, things that are authentic to Germany. Pick up that kind of food on the left, and over on the right, let's throw in some more American style German food. Let's throw in some things like hot dogs, hamburgers, hamburgers, kraut or whatever. Build your own burger. Build your own burger bar. Build your own hamburger hot dog bar. I think that would go over really well in that area. As well, Ethan, I think that it would be really cool if they were to take out the reviews that they put in every year, which I'm not going to lie, I'm not a huge fan of the shows. Maybe add in something like a polka venue, maybe something like a yodeling venue, or like maybe a German rock review, German music review. I don't know, just something that makes it feel more German. Ethan, what do you think about that?
Absolutely. Well, you have absolutely shattered my heart with the description of removing Panda Express, and that did sting a little bit. But otherwise, I'm gonna go ahead and, my plan. I want to talk to the viewers here. Panda Express will be staying in my plan because Oktoberfest is better with Panda Express. Now, however, I do believe that Brad, you do have a few good ideas bringing in some more German integrated food into the fest house, and therefore I do believe that since there is La Rosa's on one side, and since La Rosa's is also has two other locations in the park, as you know, one is
Mm-hmm.
over kind of near Rivertown, one is also on International Street. I feel like it is a safe idea to go ahead and say that that area would be a prime real estate opportunity for you guys to go ahead and bring in some more German cuisine, like Brad's talking about. It would be perfect. You kind of have that mix of, well, if you're not really too much into the specific cuisine that German food mostly has, then you also have that option of Panda Express. And then, of course, around the park, you can also go to Action Zone if you want something else. But to kind of theme into this area, I feel like it would be great to have some of that food, some of those food options that are specific to what you would only mostly see in Germany, and integrate that to Kings Island. I feel like that would definitely help make the Fest House really live to its name and reflect the culture a lot better.
Mm-hmm. Well, and something to add on to that, which I completely forgot until just now, keeping with working with local businesses, there's a local business called Izzy's that's like a delicatessen that makes amazing Reubens. Or you can get a Quick Express Hofbrauhaus. They make those. You can franchise those. Um, but overall, I think Fest House, that's one of the parts of the park, Ethan, that's been kind of neglected. It's just, I don't know. I wish they would do more with it.
Absolutely. And with the signs that Kings Island is giving some outside and some of the work that they did with the outside this season to make it start to function again, like you were saying, it does believe that they do have some faith in that building and some promises for the future. And they can do a lot of things with that to really fit in the area better with the theming that they're going to be doing in the future.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I think that I am about ready to move into my third topic for
Mm-hmm.
what I believe would be great for Oktoberfest to include in our renovations. And my intention is going to be going over to the area of Slingshot. Now, Slingshot, for most of the days, besides weekends, it doesn't really have such a long line. If you've been to the park, you may have noticed that they are oftentimes lowering that park value price on weekdays to be $5 or $10 per person. And I don't feel like that's really making the profit that they really imagined. And the operating costs seem to be pretty large for having that low ridership. So I believe that I think that Slingshot would be a safe bet to go ahead and cut off the list, remove it from Oktoberfest. It doesn't really blend in as well, and it's kind of like an odd sore in the park. And what
Mm-hmm.
I believe would be a great plan to do with this area is if you think back into history, what is one attraction that was widely praised in this area that has been removed from the park and has been requested by many, many guests and many guests and a variety of guests? It would be the Skyride. The Skyride has been gone from the park for quite so long, and you may recall that the Skyride station used to be in this area over by Slingshot. And I believe that if you are able to go ahead and take out Slingshot and then go ahead and get a Skyride station and connect it, you can connect it back to Planet Snoopy. I feel like that, or if you didn't want to do that, I feel like there's many options you could do, whether it's International Street, Coney Mall. There are many different locations where I feel like this Skyride could connect to, and it could really help enhance the foot traffic in this park. You could also get a lot of great views of the park, and for those people and guests who come to the park, and Kings Island has a very large footprint. Walking around the park is exhausting, and you're sure to probably rack up around a few miles walking around the park. So I feel like a skyride would be something to kind of calm down, ease your feet for the day, and go ahead and relax. And would be a great integration for this new Oktoberfest, and for not just those who are there for the thrills, but those who need a break every so often for the park.
Hmm. Yeah, Ethan, you're talking about an attraction that was loved by many. You, when it comes down to it, the idea of having a skyride, of course, the original skyride location was about around where the slingshot once was, like you're talking about. So you have the capacity to go and put on a very nice, maybe German, Swiss looking chateau, like the original station, put that in and have it go all the way out to Planet Snoopy. That would be a great way to get guests who maybe are a little bit older. My grandmother, she cannot walk all around Kings Island all the time. She has to bring a scooter for the most part. But even for her, my dad even, he has a hard time walking around. He's said it himself whenever he goes up Cedar Point, he always takes the Skyride. My grandmother would take the Skyride. It is a way to see the park from a different angle. I think that gives a lot of opportunities for people to go and see Kings Island in a different light. Again, we're talking about attractions here, folks, that go for the whole family when we're talking about flat rides. And I think Oktoberfest really has that capacity. It has the capacity to grow and move in that direction. It has the capacity to have these flat rides that, again, for the most part, Kings Island's been adding in stuff that is historical, stuff that's nostalgic. This would be perfect. This would be absolutely perfect. And Ethan, talking about flat rides, you and I both talked about this. I'm going to get some flack when I say this. Moving on to our number 2 spot. I want to remove the International Street Gardens. And I want to add in a new area of Oktoberfest called the Oktoberfest Fest Grounds, or the Oktoberfest Fairgrounds. What this would be is a location where there's a bunch of random flat rides and attractions. Maybe even have it span out to where uh, the airbrush shirts are.
Mhm.
Airbrush merchandise. Sorry, I do not know why I am having some weird freaking tongue tied right now. I don't know why. Anyways, doze out the International Street Gardens and add in this little fest ground with attractions like the spinning keggers, which used to be at the park. Everyone loved them. I remember my mother talking about them. My father talks about them all the time. Add in a Bayern curve and maybe even a
Ooh.
power tower. These are fairground attractions that you would expect to find at an Oktoberfest in Munich. Um, and Ethan, I know that a lot of people are going to give me flack for that, but what do you think? Do you think that I'm right with saying some of these attractions, or do you think I should have more?
Brad, I have to pretty much completely agree with what you're saying because International Gardens, for the past few years, it hasn't gotten really much use. This year, it was used as an area where you could take your mask off and kind of relax, had some shade around it. It's also been used for haunt for, I believe it was the Corn Stalker's maze before recent years. But besides that, it's a walk by for most guests. Most guests don't even know what it is for the
Mm-hmm.
most part. But your idea of transforming Oktoberfest, giving it some more room, letting it be able to really be a festive ground, especially for Cincinnati. Our Oktoberfest celebrations in Cincinnati are they attract a lot of people and they're very exciting and they're a great time for the city. And bringing it into Kings Island would be a huge thing for representing Cincinnati culture and the German culture as well. And you listed a lot of great flat rides, the Bayern curve style flat ride and the spinning keggers. Those are some great ideas, Brad. But if I may, I think I have one thing to say. Your plan is perfect, absolutely, with that area. But I believe there's one thing missing, um, in your idea for this, and let me go ahead and explain it completely. So, the one thing I believe you're missing is a Mondial top scan.
Oh, not again.
So, trust me on this. Trust me on this. This one is very important and very likely, probably the most likely thing on my entire list. So, I feel like this garden area would be perfect for a Mondial top scan. With all these flat rides in the festival, what screams festival more than a Mondial top scan? You can go ahead and look over at Carowinds with their county fair, or you can argue with me any day of the week. That county fair at Carowinds would not be a county fair. It wouldn't be a celebration without that Mondial top scan.
Ethan,
Actually,
hold on. You told me that you wanted to on top again for Cody. Okay, we're gonna lay this out right now, ladies and gentlemen. This dude wants 5 Mondale top scans for Kings Island. Am I right in saying that?
you are absolutely right in saying that. I think that whether or not a Mondial top scan can fit in any location at Kings Island, you maybe not Planet Snoopy, but I think every other area there is a plan that works out with a Mondale top scan. Kings Island, is lacking a little bit in thrill rides, and there is not a better thrill ride on the market right now than a Mondale top scan.
Oh my gosh, Ethan. Ethan, you make me cringe with the top scans. It's just this dude wants a top scan in every part of the park. Whenever we had lunch a couple of weeks ago, and he told me Mondale top scan. Every single area. Mondale top scan. Mondale top scan. Mondale. I'm just like, how many top scans do you want?
My main goal is just for Kings Island to have one, and I think Mondale Top Scan is the perfect attraction where it can fit into X Base. It can fit into Action Zone. It can fit into Oktoberfest. It can fit into Coney Mall. It can fit into Rivertown. It could even fit into International Street, believe it or not. I think that Kings Island would have a game changer by adding this to the park.
Well, you heard it from Top Scan man himself. Are we going to call you Top Scan Ethan now?
I would greatly appreciate that. You guys can refer to me as Top Scan Ethan from now on.
I think that's what we're going to call you now. Top Scan Ethan. That's a new meta. That's 100%. Ethan, I know you got something else for us, and we're going to make some people get really upset. So why don't you lead us in? Because I think we talked about the fest grounds a little bit too much.
Absolutely. Now, I believe that my choice for my last decision is going to be less controversial than what Brad's is. So, my focus of attention is going to be towards the main attraction of this Oktoberfest area, Adventure Express. Now, this was built in '91. It is kind of an adventure mine train type of style. It has a little bit of a backstory, but it hasn't been touched up upon in recent years or even when it was open too much. Now, my plan for this Oktoberfest area is I do plan on maintaining Adventure Express and restoring it back to its condition in '91. What that means is we will be turning back the fog machines will be going back on like they were in '91. There will be more music playing along the entire route. There will be the animatronics in the final part of the ride. They will be put back to use again. And overall, it will just kind of focus back in on a backstory that will connect it to the Oktoberfest theme. You have several tunnels throughout the ride that mimic a mine shaft. That would be a great idea. You could tie it into a German mine shaft, or you could kind of, with the adventure type of thing, you could put up some type of mythical beast that is from German mythology, and you could put that as the kind of the creature. I think with rides like Mystic Timbers and Orion in the past, they've done an excellent job with connecting it around the park, and putting those backstories at Kings Island is great at putting them together, and I feel like it would be an easy get together to maintain the ride. Layout is exactly the same, but just put some theming elements and add a backstory to it to really, really charm in this area and get some ridership up for Adventure Express. Now, I do know that Brad has a little bit of a different take on Adventure Express and what would happen to this area, so I'll go ahead and throw it over to Brad.
All right, Arrow lovers, I know you're going to hate me right now, but I want to bulldoze that old hunk of junk. Oh, man, the Kings Island enthusiasts are getting pissed off at me today. I was doing pretty good. Everyone was loving me after the last show, but I'm going to destroy that right here, right now. I would love for Adventure Express to go, and it's not because I hate mine trains, right? It's because the attraction's so old. It's musty. It smells like it just smells bad. Like, I mean, Ethan, you can't blame me here. When you go through some of the tunnels, I feel like I'm not going through a tunnel. I feel like I'm going into a bathroom. It
Oh,
smells. And
ow.
sorry, Kings Island, if you're listening to this, I'm very sorry, but it's true. It smells. It stinks. I want to add in something new, something fresh, something exciting, something that builds Oktoberfest up, something that makes Oktoberfest into the location in the park that you want to go to. Forget Area 72, forget Coney Mall, forget Action Zone. Right here, I want to put in a launched mock coaster. I want something that's launched. I want it to go 160 feet in the air. I want it to have several versions. I want this to be a powerhouse. We've seen Mach in the past create some amazing technological feats with things like Blue Fire Mega Coaster. We've seen things like Verbolten. We've seen other various attractions that really work well. I would love to see an attraction that's a Mach coaster with a brand new entry plaza, right? You got this beautiful space right next to the Coke marketplace. You've got this little rope climb attraction that barely gets used. It's a game that no one goes to. You have this whole entire space to build a very beautiful plaza. And you can go and build this. I guess you could make it a Viking themed attraction. You could even make it an Alpine themed attraction. I don't really care. I mean, it's like, personally speaking, I'd get rid of Viking Fury because Viking Fury's garbage, but we won't talk
Oh
about
my
that.
goodness.
Man, I'm pissing off everyone today.
You are
But
destroying everything.
no, I think that if we were to add in a mock coaster, of course you could have it. Let me get maps up here for a quick second. Let me get a map of Kings Island because I know about where I want this to go. Essentially, I would like to see this go on back. Here we go. Sorry, guys. Just have to go back to my notes here. Basically, have it go the full length of Adventure Express currently, but have it go further back into the woods. Maybe have some areas that it kind of curves around. Maybe have some helices. Something back in the old, in the service road area. Something that goes back there, kind of does some elements, and comes on back into the station. I think a Mach Coaster and Mach Blitz maybe have 2 or 3 launches on this thing. You could seriously pack a punch with this, right? You can create an attraction that utilizes terrain, but really hauls the whole entire way through. And for us to build a coaster that is more Viking themed would actually kind of fit in because in northern Germany there were Vikings. The Engels and Saxons and Utes. These are all individuals and people groups that were in northern Germany. So maybe something called Berserker. That would be really cool, and that would pair very well with Banshee, by the way. Banshee is based off of Celtic mythology, which the Celts and Vikings actually interacted. So I think overall, Ethan, what do you think? Do you think a Mach Blitz would work well?
I can definitely see where you're coming from. I feel like if they were going to go the thrill roller coaster type of route, that would be the one that would make the most sense.
Mm-hmm.
I would say it might. The only critique I would say would probably be maybe a little bit more tamer, kind of more towards a cockfight strike if they're trying to hit more into that family type of theme. If
Mm-hmm.
they're really trying to go all out and go all through, I can definitely see it being something like a Blue Fire Mega Coaster, going all out, putting all the stops, being a fantastic ride. And I do understand that with Adventure Express being an Arrow, it will have a date where it won't be able to function anymore, which is very
Mm-hmm.
sad. But I do believe that it still should be able to truck out at least a decade or some more time out.
Man, you
And I
are
feel like wherever
very, very hopeful, buddy.
I am an optimist. So I do believe that, regardless of what happens, I feel like both ideas do have some sort of chance going on, just giving some Adventure Express some love or just totally decking it out to go ahead and bring in a new attraction. Both would definitely bring some more attention and love to our beloved Oktoberfest.
Yeah, and Ethan, I think that overall, whether we get what we want or not, Oktoberfest is one of those areas that I can call home still. Uh, I love the German theming. I love the fact they're giving some TLC to Viking Fury, even though I think Viking Fury should be updated and overhauled so that way it's actually a Viking ship. But that's neither here or there. I think that overall we can have a really great future with Kings Island having Oktoberfest the way that they do. Simply put, when you go and look at the facts, when you look at the figures, The park itself is running a very fine job with the whole entire park in general. They've been adding in
Mhm.
classic attractions. Of course, when we talk about Coney Mall, we're going to talk about some classic attractions. When we talk about Rivertown, we're going to talk some classic attractions. When we even talk about Planet Snoopy, we're going to talk about some classic attractions. Then on top of that, International Street. Because there's something on International Street no one knows is actually on International Street. But with that being said, I do believe that Oktoberfest is one of the parts of the park that does have a lot of opportunities and a lot of ways for it to grow and expand. Um, Ethan, as you know, I'm a huge foodie. I think they should definitely add in German food. I think they should definitely, and heck, even if they were to add in the beer hall, Ethan, they could still add in the mac and cheese bar during Halloween Haunt, and as well on top of it, they could still add it for Winterfest.
Absolutely, best of both worlds, combining both options. I think that sounds like a plan.
Yeah. So overall, I think that kind of wraps it up here. But before we go, Ethan, we got to talk about the Discord, buddy. We got to talk about some of our socials. We got to get people out there because Ethan and I are both on the Discord here. We love talking to you guys. I think Ethan's going to try to get more active, right, Ethan?
Absolutely. I've been a little bit inactive, with the school year being a little bit busy, but
Yeah.
as we're approaching the off season, and getting into the holiday season, I will be able to succeed on my final exams and be able to interact a little bit more with you guys on the Discord. I'm excited to reach out to you guys, and if you ever are looking for me, just look for the guy who was excited about Top Skins. I'll be on
Yeah,
there,
we
Top
should.
Skin
We
Ethan.
need to
If you
rename your
call,
name to Top Scan Ethan.
I would love that. If you ask for Top Scan Ethan in the Discord, come look me up, come find me on the Slides to Coasters Discord. You will find me on there, and I'd love to chit chat with you about your level of Mondial Top Skins.
Yeah, and overall, we have a fantastic group already there. And as you guys will know from Saturday's announcement, we will be having of course, I don't know, Ethan, if you'd be available or not. We will be having our Wednesday Among Us nights. We're going to be bringing those out. So we're going to be having Among Us on Wednesday nights.
Ooh.
Might even have a Thursday night hangout. I believe we're going to try to do both nights if we can. If not, we're probably just going to have a hangout on Wednesday night and just kind of talk to you guys and kind of talk coasters and have some fun while we're at it. Of course, as well, stay up to date on our Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. We're going to be posting a lot more over the next few weeks. Of course, with Christmas coming around, we're going to have a lot of stuff to talk about. We're going to have a lot of interesting content, especially from my man, the Coaster Claus himself. Ethan, I don't know if you know about the
Ooh.
Coaster Claus, but Coaster Claus is coming to town this year. Even with the
Oh,
restrictions, he
yes.
will be coming to town.
I cannot wait for that to happen. Love the holiday season, absolutely.
Yeah. So with that being said, we're going to wrap it up here from the Slides Coasters podcast.